Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another episode of So Frail Conversations. Um, Today, I want to address something that that I've been coming across a lot. I had a conversation with a sister a while back about this very topic, um, and like once we kind of discussed it, it kind of hit me. I was like, I gotta do a topic on this shit, and because things just started to flow, and so now it's ready, I guess, to be built on and be expounded upon, and that is the strength of our mamas, the strength of our mothers. I hear it all the time. I want a woman. You got to be as strong as my mama. She got to be this. She got to be that. Like, I mean, it's natural. The women that we attract and we pattern ourselves, for relationships, we try to, we have to see our mothers in them. We see our mothers, we see our sisters, but specifically we see our mothers because that's our first source of love. That's our first example of love. You know what I mean? It may not necessarily be the first source, but it's definitely our first example and template of love. And whatever we establish with what we see from our mothers and what we want out of our mothers, that's what we kind of see in our woman or kind of desire for the women we want. That could be a double-edged sword because it's not always peaches and cream, no matter and that's one of the poisonous parts to it, because we connect love with something like that. Like, even if it's not good, we still connect love to it. And we know that love is a good thing. So we kind of get wrapped up in that. So I want the woman who has the strength of my mother, or I want a woman like my mother, blah, blah, blah. And we do that in the strength that's normalcy. That's normalcy. And so that creates the relationships that we involve ourselves with when it comes to women. But for this specific context, I'll probably go in on another one a little later. But this specific context, I want to talk about the strength of a mother, because that's something we try to hold our women to. It's a standard we try to hold our women to. But what about the other side? Yeah, we hold our women to that standard. You got to be able to, like, my mama does this, my mama did that, so my woman got to do first. Your woman ain't your mother. But I'm speaking in the context of why we're able to do this. And then from the other side, we have to acknowledge that sometimes we do the shit to women because of the strength of our mothers. And we have to understand that they're not our mothers. So not only are they not our mothers from the sense of holding them to a standard, they're also not our mothers for the very same reason that we shouldn't be punishing for the shit that we feel we should be punishing our mothers for. But before I dive into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at _just_scene_. Be sure to check me out at iamjustscene.com, where you can book sessions for chatting with Scene. You can get my book, So Frail, the Reality of Black Male Masculinity, So Frail 2, Toxic Femininity. You can reach the Justine Academy, where you can sign up for the 90-day vegan course, which is soon to be returning back to the Hitting the Raw program, and Mastering the Market, a comprehensive guide to Forex trading. Also, Justine's merch, where you can get all of your merchandise created by myself. I feel like that's everything. I don't know. It's still early. I want to give major appreciation and thanks to all who support the podcast and all who sponsor it. You are greatly appreciated. If you want to sponsor, if you want to donate, if you want to tip, you can do so. My PayPal, my Cash App, they are all in the description of your podcast. And to become a sponsor, you just go to the main podcast hub at Anchor, and you can sign up to be a sponsor there. What else? I think that's it for the housekeeping. Oh, and then my book, Hitting the Raw, Living a Raw Plant-Based Lifestyle for Life. If you're looking to transition into the plant-based lifestyle, you can get that wherever ebooks are sold. I think that's it. So we're just going to dive straight into it. And this one is So Frail Conversations, the strength of our mama. Oh yeah, and don't forget to visit IamJustSeen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to learn how to master the market for series trading and investing? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustSeen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustSeen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustSeen.com. So just take a quick peek into my world and see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it. You will never see it unless you visit IamJustSeen.com. Shit, now that I think about it, I'm going to call this So Frail conversation Strong as Mama. The strength of mama is like, man, shit too long. Fuck it. It don't flow. It don't hit you. So it's going to be So Frail conversation Strong as my mama or Strong as Mama. One of the two. I mean, shit, the title's already up now, so I probably already decided. But anyway, this is a topic that I feel like we really gotta, I think we gotta revisit this, and we gotta truly focus on breaking the mentality of wanting our women to be as strong as our mothers, right? Because for one, that sets an unrealistic, it's a double-edged sword, because we sometimes, if you're familiar with universal shit and, you know, manifestations and all of that other shit, you know what I mean? You start to understand that which you speak comes into reality. It's like it's abracadabra. By the way, abracadabra is a Hebrew word that means what I speak, I create. It's crazy. It's magic. But nah, anyway, that was a little insider. But what you speak manifests into reality. What you speak, you create. So when you say, I want a woman like my mother, right? On the surface, like, and that's the thing about known, unknown knowns, known unknowns, and all of that other quadrant shit. But when you speak on wanting something and you do not fully know it, the universe is going to give it to you as it fully is, whether you fully know it or not. All right. So whether you know your mother deeply, whether you know your mother on that level, when you utter the words, I want a woman like my mother, or I'm going to have a woman like my mother, or I need a woman who's as strong as my mama, you are going to deal with, and hear me well, a lot of broken women if your mother was broken. All right. All right. This is my own personal experience within myself. This is my own experience from viewing all of my brothers and their relationships and their relationships with their mama. Okay. I've seen it and I've seen the experience, and I used to be one when I was young. Like, I want a woman like my mother. Like, you got to be as strong as my mother, until I met her. And it was a different side of seeing, because our mothers don't show us. Our mothers do not show us the shit that broke them. They do not show us the shit that breaks them. They do not show us the shit that caused them to damn near lose their minds many times over. And we wonder why when we get in these relationships with women, you're like, this broad crazy, this broad do this broad do that. But why am I attracted to her? Because she is your mother's energy. And you don't know the full dynamic of your mother's energy or the full capacity to your mother's energy. You feel what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. I know we get caught up in this because I understand this myself. My mother would never do me the way that the women that have done me wrong, who matched her energy, would do me. I know she wouldn't do me like that. You feel me saying? Because I'm her son. But you got to understand, like I said in previous podcasts, you have 3 different connections with people, masculine-wise and feminine-wise. You have your fraternal energy, you have your spousal energy, and you have your paternal energy. And then for the mother side, it will be, you have the sororal energy, you have the spousal energy, and you have the maternal energy. You feel what I mean? So I'm not going to see spousal energy from my mother. I'm not supposed to. You dig what I mean? But I'm connecting spousally to women. That's how I'm supposed to connect with them. You feel what I'm saying? But my mentality is, she has to be as strong as my mother. That is a double-edged sword, and that is very, very powerful, because one of two things can happen. If you don't know the full story, if you don't know your mother's full story, you're going to get the side of the story that's omitted when you start to meet the women that you want to be just like her. And that is where the poison comes in, because there's sides that our mothers can't show us and won't show us, whether it be for embarrassment, whether it be for shame, whether it be for whatever the case may be. There's things that they don't. It's because we're their child, and they don't want us to see them as weak. They don't want us to see that they're vulnerable in that regard. So they don't show it. They won't show it. You feel what I'm saying? So as men, when we set that standard to want a woman that is as strong as our mother, we are really setting ourselves up for a disaster to happen. We're setting ourselves up for a disaster to happen. If, in fact, now I'm not saying that, if okay, I get it. If you've had, you've seen a healthy relationship. I don't want to speak. Let me address that. I'm speaking in the vein of, fuck it, I'm just going to flow. I'm going to continue to flow, because it's all going to still tie in. I'm just going to use the extreme examples as I always do. So when we want our mother in our significant other, you feel me? We have to want the full totality of her. Now, no matter if, your father was in the house or your father was absent, or you've only seen the positive side of your mother, you're supposed to. You're supposed to. However, it becomes extreme because you don't know that shadow side. And and as dangerous, as scary as it is sometimes, it's the shadow side that you attract in the women that you say you want to be as strong as your mother. Do you know why? Because it's her shadow side that gave her strength. Yeah, I'm going to let it breathe a little bit. It's her shadow side that gave her strength. Not her light side, not her dark side, not the side that, nurtured you or raised you. That's not what gave her that strength that you see. That's not what gave her the strength that you see. It's the shit that you don't see. It's the shit that she won't admit to. It's the shit that she's now in church for, that she says the Lord delivered her, or whatever the case may be. Those are the things that gave her that strength. You feel me? So when we utter these words, the universe doesn't respond to what we want. It responds to what we speak. Not what we talk about the most, but what we speak, because speaking has intention. When I want a woman as strong as my mother, I have to get a woman who's gone through that strength. Now it's starting to make sense why we always get with women who are emotionally broken, women who are damaged, why women who need to be fixed. And we put on the cape. We put on the cape. Oh, I want to be there for this woman. I want to do that, because you're trying to save something in your mother that you couldn't save. You feel me? I discussed that a little bit later when I get into the villain mentality and the savior mentality, because we do have both. Because like I said, it's not always, it's not always good while we want the strength of our mother, and the outcome is not always good when we involve ourselves with women like that. You feel what I mean? And like I said, I love my mother to life. I'm not bashing her. I'm not taking anything away from her or anything like that. But I only saw her good. I didn't know her shadow side until I got older. Till I was mature enough to actually talk about this shit. But I'm like, yo, and I get it. It's like, you don't want your kids to know that side of you. You don't want your kids to know those aspects of you. So you don't discuss them. You feel me? You don't discuss them. I can feel that my mother was heartbroken at my life, but she still got to be strong for her babies, right? She still got to be strong for her baby. She got 3 and she's raising them by herself. She doesn't have the luxury to not be strong. You feel what I mean? That comes with the shit when we asking shit like that. And I wanted that. And I'm like, yo, I need a woman as strong as my mom. Like, in my lifetime, I've seen my mother cry twice. No. Yeah, twice. I've seen my mother cry twice. I've seen her cry when I physically seen her cry. I've seen her cry when I graduated from college. And I seen her cry when I was 17. I got into some shit. And, that's a conversation that'll come down a lot more when we get a lot more familiar. But Um, that those are the only two moments I've ever seen my mother cry. Ever. Ever. Like, no, there was three. There was three. It was those two moments. And then one time she had a migraine so bad, so fucking bad that it brought her to her knees. And she cried from that. But like, that's it. Those are the only moments I've seen her cry. With my own two eyes, like, yo, mom crying, bro. Like, she don't cry, bro. Like, what is this? What is this? And I didn't know, like, you know, we had these conversations. I didn't know that there was time like she would cry away from us. Like she wouldn't show us the tears. We were never allowed to see my mama cry like that. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's a reality for a lot of us. I want the woman with the strength of our mother. How many times have we ever seen our mama cry? How many times have we ever been in a position to see our mother be vulnerable? We can't. We don't. So that strength that you want a woman to exhibit, in order for her to get to that strength, she has to go through the very pain that made your mama that strong. Maybe not the very pain, but a series of pains that are going to make that made your mother that strong. See, it's scary because that's what we desire. That's what we want, you know, because mama endures, like, and then it goes generational at this point. It goes generational at this point because now we got to go to the other side that women are encouraged to endure this bullshit. You feel what I mean? Because when it's like, you know, when we look at the endurance of a woman, a woman got strength, a woman got this, a woman ain't supposed to be as strong as women are these days. But this is transgenerational shit. The mothers are passing it down to their daughters to be this strong, to endure this shit. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, and all of that shit. And as sons, we watch this shit. Fortunately, you know, fortunately and unfortunately, I'm going to say both sides of this. Fortunately, I never seen a man disrespect my mother. I've never seen it. My father left when I was 4 months old. I never met him. So I've never seen a man disrespect my mother. You feel me? Fortunately. But unfortunately, I also never seen men in my life because my mother was like, I'm not just having any man around my kids. You feel me? So I missed that masculine experience. I missed that experience to connect with the man. I missed that shit. All I had was my mother, so therefore I wanted that strength. But what we see our mothers take, what we see our mothers do is the very shit we know that we can do to women because my mama can take it, so I need a woman who can take this shit too. This is where it starts to get dark and ugly. Not dark and lovely, motherfucker, dark and ugly. Because like I said, this is transgenerational shit. Because this is shit that's been approved. You feel what I mean? This is shit that our uncles have seen our grandfathers do to our grandmothers. Our fathers have seen our grandfathers do this to our mothers. And then the shit passes down and our mothers have seen this shit happen to their mothers, to their grandmothers. And it's normalcy. Their aunts. It's normalcy. This is what you take. Salute. I love y'all to life. And I hope I get me one of y'all when it's all said and done. The women that are completely breaking this shit. I mean, I'm breaking my own cycles too. So that I know that I'm going to have me a woman who's broken cycles too. But I've noticed that the women, everybody's like, yo, why are the women single right now? They're breaking cycles because they're not enduring the shit that y'all endured. Not for no 30, 40 years. Not for no 40, 50 years. Not for the sake of being, you know, identified under a deity's name. Not for the sake of no shit like that. Fuck no. They're tired. They're tired and they're not doing that shit anymore because now it's getting worse. It's getting worse and the cycle just keeps going. In order for me to have a woman as strong as my mother, she has to have gone through what my mother has gone through. Even on a basic common sense level, physical level. If I want to be as strong as a motherfucker who benches 450 pounds, I have to go through the process this motherfucker went through and bench 450 pounds. I may not necessarily have to do bench press, lat pull. I may not have to do the same series of exercises he's done, but I've had to go through this very sequence of events that lead up to me being strong enough to do that shit. You don't think that same shit is happening when you want a woman as strong as your mother and your mother has gone through hell and high water to be as strong as she is? That's why that shit pisses me off when I hear motherfuckers say, I changed for my daughter. It's like, yo, fuck my mama. You might not be actively saying fuck my mama, but it's like, yo, and then that gets crazier too, because you decide to change when you want a daughter, but you want a woman as strong as your mama. What do you think you do in between that time? How's that woman going to get as strong as your mother? One of two things happen. Either you're going to take in the broken bird who has gone through all of the bullshit that she can take, been broken to her absolute low, has finally reached the point where she's hit rock bottom and then started to climb and come out of that. That's who you want. That's who you want, you know? And this goes back to what I was saying. It was unfortunate because my mother never had boyfriends. You feel me? Not serious ones. Like I met a few dudes that had interest in her and shit. She just never took it that far. You feel what I'm saying? She never took it that far. And even now, I'm the youngest and I've been out the crib since I was like 18. You feel what I'm saying? She still won't meet anybody. You know, she still won't go out and it's like my pops, and these are like one of the things I had to come to terms with, especially about forgiveness. I forgave him for the shit that he did to me, but I had a hard time forgiving him for the shit that he did to my mama. You feel what I mean? I had a very hard time forgiving him for the shit that he did to my mama. And I didn't know what he did to my mama to the capacity it was until we started talking. So me wanting a woman as strong as my mama, as powerful as my mama, as able to endure as my mama, she had to go through some shit. And every woman that I've been involved with has crazy, horrible fucking stories. Crazy stories, bro. That shit's heartbreaking to hear that shit. And what makes it even worse is that it's normal, man. It's normal. You've seen the stat that like 60% of our sisters have been sexually abused by the time they're 18 years old. That's literally every other, my guy. A little more than every other. So when we look at that, like I looked at the women, it's like, yo, you went through that, you went through this, you went through that. And then I peeled back the layers. And like I had to go within, which led me to, I'm like, yo, I'm able to speak with I'm like, I can't have a woman as strong as my mama. I can't. Because the shit that my mom had to endure is crazy. It's crazy, bro. The shit that our mothers endure as women as a whole to get to that level of strength is crazy. And for my sisters who are listening to this, if anybody, you're catching this, and like, I can't tell you what to say to the older generation, but please be the generation that is comfortable and confident enough to share your stories with their children. Don't just, I've been where you've been, and leave it at that. Like, your kids are going to need to know the details in order to avoid certain shit. You feel what I'm saying? And I say that especially our sons, women, they need to know your stories with men. You don't have to be graphic about fucking and sucking and doing all of the freaky shit you're doing, popping the yoni for a real nigga. You don't have to tell them that part unless you're comfortable with it when they get older. But they need to hear your story early on so they're not developing one of these two mentalities, because this is what comes out of this shit. You dig what I mean? This is what comes out of that shit. On one side, we create a villain. We as men become villains when we don't know our mother's stories, but we want a woman as strong as our mother. Because if, in fact, our relationship is bad with our mother and we have to we test the waters because it's, oh, she my mama. She gonna forgive me. She gonna let it go. She gonna get over it. I'm not tripping on that shit. Like, I'm her child. I can do this shit. On that side, that's the villain coming out. That's going to be the villain mentality. And we can talk that bullshit about, and then in wanting a woman as strong as my mother, in expressing the villain aspect, every woman we come across, we're going to push that woman to the absolute limit to see if she'll break. If you don't break, then I'm going to fuck with you. Because now I know you as strong as my mother. That is, I had a moment. That's heartbreaking, bro. Because as the villain, as the villain with the villain mentality, we don't even know that we're doing it. We do to women what we do to our mothers, or what we would want to do to our mothers. That creates a whole different reality. If I'm afraid to say certain shit to my mother, if I'm afraid to respond to my mother a certain way, if I'm afraid to do these certain things to my mother, I am not going to respond accordingly. And when I get with women, I'm going to do certain shit. I'm going to say certain shit. I'm going to push her to the point of, you got to be able to endure what my mother endured for me to be with you. And that gets scary because we don't even know what our mother had to endure to get that strong. We don't. And not only do we not know it, we don't respect it when we become the villain. We don't respect it at all. We bounce from women to women, not caring, what happens and all of that shit. Like, I'm not even going to I've been the hero. I've been the villain and I've been the savior. I've had both of those roles. And I'm not proud of either one. And I'm also not ashamed of either one. I've made peace with that shit. I'm not dwelling on letting that hold over my head. But I started off as the villain because I knew my mother's strength, but I didn't know her fucking story. You feel me? I didn't know her fucking story. I didn't know the shit that she's gone through as a child, from a child up until that point. I know my mother from April 14th on. I know my mother from my birth date when I entered this world on. That's how I know my mother. When I met my mother, all I saw her was strong. You feel what I mean? All I saw her was strong, and I never knew her story till I got older. Within the last 3 years, I'm like, damn, that's why I fuck with these type of women. That's why I did women like that and didn't give a fuck. That's why I do this shit. Granted, I'm my own person and I can have my responsibility for doing, but when I wanted women as strong as my motherfucking mama, the universe gave me that. And if they didn't give that to me, I was going to make her stronger. You feel what I mean? I realized, and like I said, I was the villain in the younger years. I talk my stories about being savage and shit. And again, I'm not proud of it. A lot of times I have humor in my stories about the shit that I did in my whole phase and everything like that. That wasn't good because in that moment I was actively preparing those women to be as strong as my mama for the next man. For the next man. I was putting in so much work to make them stronger, not even knowing that I was doing. Like, the pain and the strength that our women have to fucking endure is crazy in order to get to a level where they're strong. We think that shit's that like they're just built like that? No, motherfucker. They're continually going through shit that makes them stronger. And we putting them through it. We're the ones putting them through it. So like I said, in my teenage years, in my whole phase, when I was running through and doing all of this shit, yeah, I was like, yo, let me get a woman as strong as my mama. Now, granted, I'm a teenage, like, you ain't strong as, you ain't even lived long enough. But then I look back on them shits. I would embarrass women in public, didn't give a fuck. I remember I'm 16 years old in high school, and this girl talking about, I was, walking around multiple girls and shit. Like, I'm fucking y'all. Like, I don't go with none of y'all. The fuck? You feel me? And she chased me down the hallway one time, talking about, why I always gotta chase you? I'm like, you ain't always gotta chase me. Like, the fuck? If I want to walk you to class, I'm gonna choose to do that. Otherwise, shit. Then, whatever. So her friend came with her and was like, she want to know why you always walking with, and then she said the other girl name. And so she was like, I said, cause I fucking can. What you mean? She said, well, if y'all go together, you shouldn't be walking with somebody she don't like. I said, we don't fucking go together. And it's like everybody in the hallway heard it. And it's like, I don't know why it went this way, but everybody got quiet as soon as I said we don't fucking go together. And everybody was like, oh, that shit embarrassed her. I didn't give a fuck though. I didn't give a fuck. Right after that, she texted me. It was like, was all you wanted was the pussy? I said, motherfucker, that's all you gave me. And that's all you had to give. I didn't even think twice about what the fuck I was saying to this woman. I didn't even think twice about what the fuck I was implanting in her. I didn't even think twice that I was giving her strength future years down the line. I didn't even really anticipate none of the shit that I was doing to her. And that ain't the only one I did it to. That ain't the only one I did it to. I fucked sisters before, cousins. You feel me? I didn't give a fuck. Like, I was wrong and ruthless with this shit. But I wanted a woman as strong as my mother. And this thing, oh, you ain't strong as my mama. You ain't gone through enough shit. I didn't even know what the fuck my mama had gone through. You feel me? I ain't even know the shit that my mama had gone through. That she holds in. That she never told me. There's shit that she still won't tell me. But it's like, damn, all this time I wanted a woman as strong as my mama. So, like I said, in the villain phase, you know, we put our woman through a lot of shit. You know, we put our women through a lot of shit, bro. Like, I gotta test to see if she loyal. I gotta test to see if she down. Nah, stop testing that shit, bro. Pick your nuts up, man. Like, if you gonna fuck with her for real. Like, if you gonna, like, we can't damage any more generations, man. We just can't. We cannot damage any more of our sisters, bro. Like, that shit is hell. That shit is hell. Because now we get older and we want to talk about, oh, you just need to pick the right niggas. Oh, you just need to do this. Like, who the fuck is the right one? We got a solid template coming up from teenage years and we never crossed the threshold. Like, not all, man. You bitch motherfuckers, y'all pick, man, look. I ain't gonna get emotional with this shit, bro. Because it's us that piss me off with the shit. Because we're on one hand, oh, you need to choose the right men. You need to do this. And then don't get me on you geeky motherfuckers who talking about who throw it in their face. Like, she chose, like, she knows that shit. Like, these are the things that make our women strong. So when we get her and we like, yo, I got me a strong woman and shit, and then you don't know shit about the past and it made her strong. And then when the shit starts to unfold and you start to see all the emotional shit that she got with her, you got to start to see all the psychological shit she got with her because a motherfucker wanted a woman as strong as his mother, but didn't want her anymore. Let that shit rock for a second. Because we gotta realize that we gotta deal with that shit. Motherfucker wanted a woman as strong as his mother, but he no longer wanted that woman anymore. Because no matter what he pushed, no matter how she be like, he could never see the strength of his mother in her. But she strived for it, but she had to pay for that shit because his actions were going to push her to that, whether directly or indirectly, or whether the past came up to all of her past situations came up and she wasn't ready for this man because there's like, oh, yo, you got to be as strong as my mother. I have not gone through, like, the universe is going to manifest that shit into reality, bro. The first woman that ever broke my heart, right? Now, again, I'm not saying my mother would ever break my heart because she wouldn't, but I was attracted to my mother's energy still. I didn't know anything about the tiers of paternal, maternal, sorority. Like, I didn't know that shit at the time. I'm 18 years old when I get with this woman. You feel me? And she was the first woman to break my heart. But at the same time, the shit that she endured up until 19 years, the shit that she endured, not even only up until, like, just listening to her story at the time was like, damn, you went through all of that. Now what's fucked up, what's even more fucked up, I've been around the block, I've dealt with a lot of women. There is a similar story in each one of these women. So it's like, what the fuck am I really attracted to? You feel me? I'm attracted to trying to find the strength in my mother, but now I'm starting to see a lot of it, what that strength was, and she won't tell me. My mama doesn't have to tell me all of the stories, and I know she's not going to tell me all of the stories, and I know she won't tell me all the stories because I know that she can't. But I feel energy, and I don't need the fucking story because when I say I want a strong woman, the universe gives it to me in the woman that I'm dealing with, the women that I'm dealing with. And I was never able to make the connection until I got older, like, oh, shit. That's what it takes to be as strong as my mama. I'm not putting you through that. Hey, huddle up, broskies, because it's time to elevate. The secret to evolving masculinity is to define it, understand it, then apply it. The So Frail series defines masculinity as the spiritual, mental, and physical embodiment of the essence of analysis and deconstruction. From this definition, I explain how masculinity is not just the hat that we wear, but it's the essence that we must exude through application. If you enjoy the So Frail conversations, why not read the books that inspire them? Visit IamJustSeen.com right now to add the So Frail series to your library to get a better understanding of what masculinity really is. I promise, after reading So Frail, you will never look at masculinity the same again. But we had that aspect of yo, man, my mama can take this. My mama did this. And that's why it's very, very poisonous when we see, I was fortunate enough not to see my father in my life. And I think that helped me in some regard. My older brother, not the same. He had that experience with our father. It was different. And we also have different paths, and we had different connections with women in our years. You feel what I'm saying? We have different connections, different experiences. I'm not going to go in on his story because that's his story. You feel what I mean? But I know how I seen it able to be played out. Then I look at my homies. You feel me? I look at my homies. I had a friend one day, you know, his mother, you know, not only like his mother remarried or whatever, he had a stepdad or whatnot, hated the nigga. He would not call this nigga his stepdad. Like, yo, fuck that. That ain't my dad, bro. Don't fucking disrespect me like that. But I remember one day him and his stepdad fought. Then I remember another situation where his mom looked him in the face and told him she'll punch him in his face. Like, I'm sitting there. You feel me? And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. But then I remember watching him beat up a woman one time. Granted, I'm real. I stopped him as best as I could, but like it was already there. Like, you feel me? This woman had, and we're young. I think I was like 13, maybe 13 or 14. So he's a year younger than me. So he had to be about 12 or 13. But I watched him beat this girl up. And I was like, yo, chill, bro. Get the fuck off her like that. He like, nah, fuck that. You know what I mean? He like, yo, she ain't gonna put he was like, yo, she ain't gonna put fucking hands on me. Yo, she ain't stupid. And I'm like, I get it. Like, but then I thought back. I'm like, damn. I remember the time his mama threatened to punch him in his face and he didn't even budge. So that's why I say, be sure. I tell my sisters this all the time, especially y'all with sons. Be sure that you may be raising your son to not hit women. You might be doing an excellent job to raise him to not hit women, but make sure you're not a woman that he wants to hit, because all of that shit goes out the fucking window. All of that shit goes out the window. If you're a woman that he wants to hit, but you're raising him not to hit women, it's a matter of time before that woman that he don't give a fuck about puts their hands on him or says something crazy and he snaps because he really wants to do that to you. Because again, like I said, it goes back into we want women as strong as our mothers. We want women as strong as our mothers. So we're going to deal with the woman who has developed the same strength as the mother that we feel. Same strength as we feel within our mothers. You dig what I mean? And that's just damaging. That's just damaging. Because we have to reach a point where we really just come to terms with only way for us to be in successful relationships, if we want the strength of our mothers, we got to deal with that. Like, now I get it. From that other aspect, a lot of dudes like, yo, my mother, her and my pops had a good relationship. I said, I'm not like, see, and that's the problem. That's the problem right there. When I say this shit, people initially go into the relationship between the mother and the, like, she's not even important enough to get a single appreciation. Well, nah, the relationship with my mama and my dad was good. I'm not talking about the relationship with them. What about their relationship, her relationship? Like, think about it. Even if you're like, you got to really put this into perspective. Your mother and father had to meet. It's logic. It's simple. They met and they've known each other for however long they've known each other. You feel me? So I'm not speaking on how she was in relationship with that man. How was she in a relationship with herself? What things did she have to come to terms with? What things did she have to grow from? What things did she have to evolve with? What healing did she have? Some women are in relationships with men right now that they can't heal. Some women are in relationships with men right now, and there's things that they haven't healed that their men have no knowledge about. Know absolutely nothing about what has happened to them up until that point. And then it's like, damn, wow, you went through what? Oh, shit. Then you don't know how to deal with it. You don't know how to, like, why won't she get close to me? Why is she doing me like this? Why is she thinking like, it's deeper than just thinking all men are the same and we fuck boys, bro. Trauma's a real fucking thing, my nigga. And when we don't understand how trauma really works, and we don't understand that, like, when we are trying to see our women as strong as our mothers, their trauma is undermined. Because we don't know how bad trauma affected our mama. This shit ain't about psychology. It ain't about none of that shit, bro. This is reality and just watching how shit flows out. And if the mom, I said this in like a poem or some shit a while back. It's like, if the mama's broken, the daughter's cracked, and it goes off from that. That is some real shit, because now if we want a woman as strong as our mother, we have to realize that a daughter is going to still pattern herself off of her mother. And this is why I personally feel, from the generational aspect, our women are so strong and our women are so broken because their mothers raised them to be hard, to be able to endure the shit that they couldn't walk away from. Their mothers our mothers are raising our daughters and our sisters to be stronger than them, to be able to walk away from the shit that they couldn't walk away from, to be able to have a voice when they were quiet, to be able to stand up when they had to sit down. And a lot of times we get lost in that because we think the mothers and the daughters are beefing, they don't hate each other. No, the mother can't admit her weakness to her daughter. She won't admit her weakness to her daughter, so she needs to make sure her daughter is stronger than her. If that man does this to you, leave. If that man no, but the daughter still never seen her mother's strength. So she does not know what she's about to endure going forward. And this is also another subconscious thing why our mothers coddle us. They don't want us to be anything like the men that fucked them up. Because they don't want us to be in the light of those men when we meet the women that we involve ourselves with. But it's an inevitable thing because we still want the strength of a mother. We still want the strength of our mother. And if you're raising us to be weak, we're going to find you in the women that we involve ourselves with. And the shit and the tolerance and the things that we were able to do with you, we're just going to do with her. It's a repeated cycle. This is transgenerational shit. Sometimes you try so hard to break the cycle, try so hard, but until you identify the cycle, it's hard to stop. That's why our daughters beef. That's why. Because when our daughters get their heart broken, when they out here fucking and shit like that, I don't even think our mothers know that it's unconscious why they're responding this way. Because they know the path she's going to go down. It's not that she's blasphemous. It's not that she's out of wedlock. It's because you're going down a slippery slope that once you start going like this, men are going to continue to abuse you. And we want a woman as strong as our mother. So in wanting a woman as strong as our mother, we're going to get a woman who has gone through a similar experience, similar circumstances with the women that we... This shit is bad. This shit is bad. Yeah, we talk that shit. Yeah, I want a woman as strong as my mother. So we're going to create that circumstance for that type of woman. Whatever, when we're done with you, you're going to be as strong as my mother, whether we're together or not. Because on the coin flip to that, we still don't understand why that is our mother. We've never had a spousal. We obviously can't have a spousal relationship with our mother. So there's things we cannot see. There's vulnerabilities we cannot see. And we don't see them within our parents. Even if in their relationship, we don't hear the bedroom talk. We don't know the shit that they talk about in their day. All we see is the mask and the smile they put on every fucking day. So when we see the strength, we see that they're perfect. We never see the vulnerability, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Because as men, we cannot see that our mother's strength comes from being at their absolute low. And overcoming it for the sake of their kids, overcoming it for the sake of whatever. You feel me? And this is transgenerational shit. You feel me? Transgenerational shit. And this shit just keeps going. You know, the shit just keeps going. And that's the villain. That's the negative side of it. Now, granted, we get the positive side on the positive side, but is it really positive? Because that's when we come into the saving mentality. In my older years, I developed the saving mentality. I really had it as a kid. I've always had it, but I became the villain because I was around niggas who was on some shit like, yo, you a Captain Save a hoe ass nigga. I ain't want to be no Captain Save a hoe ass nigga, but I never knew why I wanted to say hoes. Like, I know I'm saying hoes in a sense because, I got to break the tension a little bit, haha, chuckle, the fuck, you feel me? But I wanted to say these hoes. And I was trying to say these hoes because I'm not saying that my mama was a hoe or no shit like that. But what I'm saying is that energy and knowing that I felt my mom's strength hiding or masking what was really going on, and she wouldn't tell me. I'm an empath, like a real one. Not knowing is like, I really feel people's energy and I feel everything. And that internalization always made me say, you know what? The women that I'm gonna be with, I can't let them be in this light. I can't let them be in this light. And it's not fair. I was the type of motherfucker who would try to fix a broken heart. I'm kind of still like that. I've had to learn how to set boundaries and change that shit because it's not healthy for me. Because in that same regard, I would invite, like, the women that I've involved myself with are women who need healing, who need helping, who need transformation, who need all these things. And I had to learn that, you're not going to have a healthy relationship with any woman if you're trying to save her. You have to give her the skills on how to heal and save herself. But those same women need saving. Those same women, what I give them is peace. You feel what I mean? And I always feel bad when it's time, like, I can't be with you like that. I had to get older to realize that, because the first heartbreak that I got in was because I was trying to save her. I seen her pain. I wanted to fix it because I couldn't fix my mama. I couldn't help my mama. I couldn't change my mama. I couldn't protect my mama. I couldn't provide for my mama. I couldn't do shit. So it makes me go above and beyond for women who I see have the potential to be as strong as my mama, based off of what I feel from their story. Oh, you had pain. When you get through this, when you heal through this, I want to be like, I'm not there to heal you through it. And I had to learn that shit. I had to really learn that shit. I got wrapped up in that. I got lost in that. And a lot of us fall into that savior mentality because we feel, knowing the strength of our mothers, we can feel that, you're not telling me everything. So rather than putting women through it, I'm going to try to take women away from it. But it has a bad effect because, like I said, it still has a negative effect because this when you get the geeky motherfuckers who are like, but remember you like the hood dude and all of this, they eventually become villains because if you, it was in Batman or something, if you live long enough to see, you either die or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. It's real shit. Those good guys, quote unquote good guys, they got tired of being good. And the good guy gets a bad rap because it's like, oh yeah, you a good guy, you that is young, didn't appreciate it. You know why we get a bad rap? Because we have a savior mentality and we're trying to save an essence that we couldn't save within our mothers. And nobody gets it. We don't even get it. So then when we get older, we want to rub it in your face. Yeah, see, now you alone with your 3 kids. We became the villain. Because the saving in us, the saving part in us, like, and granted, that's not us. We're not supposed to save these women. We're not supposed to save these women. You know what I mean? It's not on us to do that. But we feel that moral obligation because it's like, I can't help my mama, but I'm damn sure going to help the woman that I'm with. Right? I'm damn sure going to help the woman that I'm with. And if I'm helping her, then I'm going to be like, a lot of the relationships that I was in based off of that, I shouldn't have been in. But it's like, she's hurt. I don't even know why I was attracted to her. I was attracted to the fact that her energy felt like my mama's. Regardless of what my mom put up, I could see through her wall. I didn't know the what, but I know how she felt. I knew that, you hurt, you sad, you're depressed right now, you're this, but you cannot show it. So when I got with women, guess what? They were hurt, they were sad, they were depressed, but they would not show it. They would not show it. You feel what I mean? Would not show it. The woman that broke my heart, nobody knew any of the shit that was going on behind closed doors until like afterwards. You feel me? I was like, man, y'all, we weren't supposed to be together. Like, she had a nasty attitude. She had these things. She had that. She had this. She had that. And it was all a front. It was all a front to appear stronger than she was. Because deep on the inside, she was very, very weak. She was very, very damaged. She was very, very hurt. And nobody knew that. I'm like, yo, when we would talk, like there's women, even in my older age, women who have told me secrets and told me things that are deeper than what they've told anybody. I hear that so many times. It's like, yo, you know things about me that I don't hear. And I'm like, I know it's me. You know, it's me. That's just a part of my connection with this world. And I realize that one of my karmic debts, I have to heal women. I know I was asked from this lifetime. I don't know what the fuck I did to y'all in past lifetimes. I don't. I really don't. And whatever I did, I apologize because I'm paying for this shit a lot. But I've learned over the years that even in the saving mentality that it gets bad. It gets bad because in that, the women develop a codependency on me, on us as well. I'm speaking on me because I know my experience, but those women develop a codependency. When you're able to see a woman's inner child and bring that shit out, like I would always wonder how when I'm trying to, put my Mac down and shit and talk to him and all of that shit, and I'm like, yeah, and it's like she's mature, she's grown, but then when I crack that shell, she turns into a little girl again. It's like she want to play all the time and joke, and I'm like, yo, how did I bring your little girl out? But again, that part is what's supposed to happen in a relationship. You're supposed to bring the inner child out of a person. And when we look at it and we get like, yo, our women, we never seen our mothers and their children. We've never seen the inner child of our mother, so we don't know how to deal with the inner child of a woman. So we'll think she's childish. We'll think she's immature. We'll think these things, and she's really not. She's comfortable. She's at peace. You brought her that. You dig what I mean? And that is a part of, like I said, the savior side. From the savior side, we get into the Captain Save-A-Hole. Women, y'all save us too, but I'm talking about us right now in regards to wanting women as strong as our mamas. The strength of a mama, like, that's crazy. Like, it's a double-edged sword. Because like I said, I've been on both sides of it. I've been the villain who punished women and put women through shit because it's like, oh, yo, you ain't strong enough to be my mama. But then again, at the same time, I've completely, giving myself away for women because it's like, yo, you're just as strong as my mama. I feel it. And I don't want you to be strong anymore. Like, I don't want you to have to feel that because I couldn't take that away from my mama. You feel me? Those were things that I just couldn't take away from my mama. And I see so many of my brothers go through that. So many of my brothers are like that. You feel me? There's things I just can't do, I can't do. And then it's like, if we're young and we're caught up in the mama's boy shit, we'll shit on our mama. Therefore, we'll end up shitting on our women. But all in all, it's like when we set that standard of trying to find a woman that is just like our mama, what we're going to do is we're going to either be very damaging to all of the women across our path, or we're going to have to fix the woman that comes up from being damaged by all of the men in her path. There's no way around that shit. There's no way around that shit. Like, dudes keep saying, yo, pick the right men. There is no right one of us. There is no right one of us. Like, I'm saying this shit too. Like, I don't tell women on some shit. Like, I just had a caption that I commented on about, it was like men they bounce around from, and it just so happened it fit right in time with this. It was like men bounce around from woman to woman. Are you homeless? Are you like, no, we're looking for a woman who's as strong as our mama. You feel me? And we're permitted to do that shit because from the cyclic aspects, our mothers are raising us to not be, when they raise us to not be anything like the men anything like the men that they've dealt with, they don't know exactly what they're doing. This is not a shot or anything like that, but what I mean is what you're creating when you're trying to raise a son to not be anything like the men that and especially if you're doing it from a place of pain. I look like my mom never had a chance to heal from my father. She tells me all the time, I'm older, she's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm 30. I've never seen you grieve over this shit. You never stopped because you couldn't. You can't be good. You can't. Like, you fucking can't. Like, I'm 30. He left when I was 4 months old. I don't know what the fuck he did for the first 7 years. But I do know from 4 months on, like, the stories that I hear now, like, for example, my mom was in, and these are things that I've internalized too, that I didn't know that I can start to see now as I get more in tune with certain shit. But my mom was pregnant with me and he took the headlights out of her car. Like, my nigga, you tried to kill us. You feel what I mean? And then, like, when he came, like, my mom was able to get in touch with him, and then he came and brought the headlights back in his pocket. Like, nigga, they was in your motherfucking pocket. So that's that. Like, a part of that is why I say I had difficulty forgiving him for what he did to my mom. Like, I forgave him for what he did to me. I like, you hurt my mama, bro. That's just one incident. You feel what I mean? And I wasn't even here yet. So I don't know what, like I said, I don't know what the fuck he did before my conception. You know, I know that after 4 months old, that was it. She was done. But she could never stop. I'm a 4-month-old baby. And she's raising 2 other ones already by herself. She ain't got no time to stop and deal with a heartbreak. They were married. Like, you feel me? And I'm like, damn, that's just one small glimpse. She won't, and I can't go back into the old stories of, you know, the traumas that she faces as a kid and all of these things. Like, and it got me thinking, what do we really want when we want a woman as strong as our mama? Like, really, really, really consider that. Because in order to feel, like, all we feel is energy. What gets that energy that high? What gets that energy that strong? Because that's what we're going to have to experience in the women that we want. Those women that we have experienced, that nag, that argue, that have gone through certain things, that are, you know, she don't trust me. With just reason, bro. She has a valid reason why she don't trust men. A very valid reason why she don't trust men. I'm not even mad at it. I'm not even mad at it. When I get with women who are more, who we clash because they're trying to be more masculine than me. And this is where it's beautiful though. It'd be funny as shit because I'll be breaking that shit down. Like, now I don't know, like, yo, you going, like, it's just my natural essence. I naturally bring out the feminine in a woman. Like, it's some amazing shit, bro. I don't try to fight them. I don't try to, I got to serve. And some of them can't relinquish that. Some of them can't let it go. And I've known women who are like, I've had a homegirl tell me, like, we're friends now. Like, we're actually friends. We've been friends for like 4 or 5 years now. But like, in the beginning, like, you know, you talk and see if you know how it goes. And then you compartmentalize. We're going to be platonic or we're going to be whatever. So we were vibing and shit. And she said, bro. She said, you my bro and all. She said, I couldn't be in a relationship with you. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what you trying to say? You feel me? I'm getting offended. She's like, nah, you too masculine for me. She said, fucking with you, I realized what a masculine man is, and I realized I'm a masculine man too. I was like, we laughed over that shit. It was hilarious. But she was like, I realize now that that's why I deal with the men that I deal with, the men that I have to take care of, the men I have to, because I was raised to be masculine. Our daughters, our mothers are raising them so that they don't get hurt, because they're like, we're not even telling them. And then some mothers just get so cold that you'll figure it out by yourself. I don't even want you to have this kind of affection and emotion, because I want you to be hard. I want you to be this so men cannot do these things to you. So men won't do these things to you. So you won't get hurt like that, like I did. You feel me? And for my sons, I'm going to coddle him. I'm going to make sure I love him right. I'm going to make sure he does not have a bitter bone in his body. I'm going to make sure that he knows that a woman's going to love him and cherish him and do all of these things, so he doesn't treat women the way that I was treated growing up. Not knowing that really repeats the cycle. That is why we do it. Because when we're cuddled and we're loved and we're doing all of this, we don't give it, like, there's no accountability. There's no upstage for us to do certain shit, because even still, we're still looking at your relationships or lack thereof. We're still looking at how things are truly playing out for you. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to go treat our women like that. Now we're like, yeah, my mama's strong and she loved me. So I need a woman that's strong and gonna love me no matter what the fuck I do. No matter what I do. You feel me? I'm gonna push the limits because I don't know what my mom's I don't know what my mom's pain threshold is. I just know she's strong. You feel me? Like I said, I've only seen my mama cry three times in my life. And there are brothers who have never seen their mother cry, and they won't see their mother cry. Their mothers cry in the dark, and they don't know the shit. You feel what I mean? But yeah, I want a woman as strong as my mama. So she has to have had endured everything or similar things up to that point. Physical abuse, mental abuses, different things like that. Like, I be hearing so many stories. I'm like, damn, like, motherfucker did that shit. That's crazy. Wow. I'm not even like, and I have to, I'm like, that's, wow. You know, don't get me wrong. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. When I was in the 6th grade, I slapped this girl in the face. Now, I don't know, tyrant shit. Like, you feel me? I still slapped her though, so I'm not trying to absolve what I did. Like, we were standing in the line, she kicked me and I slapped her. It wasn't like, you feel me? I just beat her up, no shit like that. It was just like, bam. And that was the last time I hit a woman, for real. Like, that was the last time I hit a woman. I cried after that shit too, man. I ain't gonna lie. I got suspended for a day, but I cried because I cried the rest of the day. That shit happened like, it was like after like lunch class. And then me and the girl, like, we had all classes together. That's what made it bad. Like, we was in the same, like, we was in the first period together. We was in second period together. We was in fourth period together. We even had our directive studies class. Like, we was in band together. She seen me cry since that point. And it was like, why are you crying? I was like, I didn't mean to hit her, bro. Like, it was really just like, she kicked me and I swung my hand. I didn't even like, and I'm like, they're like, why are you still crying? I'm like, cuz I did not mean it. I cried for the rest of that day, bro. I couldn't even play my saxophone that day, and the band director was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Man, I'm not gonna put her name out like that." I'm like, but I slapped her on accident. I didn't mean to, man. And you know what I mean? I wasn't even mad that I got suspended. Like, I was more hurt that I slapped her. I cried the whole day after that shit, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And after that, I've never like, I just couldn't do it, But don't get me wrong. On the other side, I know dudes who don't give a fuck, because I've never been in a position where I wanted to hit my mother back. You feel me? But a lot of dudes that are abusive, that's shit that they would do to their mamas if they had a chance. So it's like, as men, I know this took a turn. This took a turn. I know you got to be as strong as my mama. Yeah. Do we really want that though? Like, sit back and ask yourself. Sit back and ask yourself, do you want a woman as strong as your mama? And then ask the next question. How strong is your mama? And don't forget to take a moment to go get your exclusive merchandise from Just Scenes Merch. At Just Scenes, each piece is specifically crafted with positive imagery and symbolism. From the titles and designs to the descriptions, each style gives you something to feel great about. With everything from hoodies and tees to coffee mugs and tote bags, we have something for the entire family. So be sure to get yours today. Find us on Instagram at Just Scenes Merch and get your merchandise right now. All right, I think that's a good spot to try to die it down, man. Like, this is cyclic shit that we gotta break. All I can do is address the shit, bro. All I can do is address it. I can't fix it. But when the cycle has been identified, and you identified it, point this shit out. Because I'm looking now and I'm seeing how we're losing a lot. You feel me? We look at the genocide biologically. We look at the genocide like, what about the genocide and like, this is suicidal genocide. We're killing ourselves with this shit. That's why it's so easy to hurt the women that we're in, because our women, especially black women, like, that shit, because of the endurance that shit has, like, y'all are expected to tolerate this shit. So now we're in a like I said, I hope I'm manifesting the fuck out of one of y'all. I want y'all, but one of y'all, not all. I'm not on no polygamy shit, but we're in a position now where we're mad that the black women have decided to say no more. Again, this is something I was just saying a few days ago. The last generation was the last generation. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to see none of the shit that I can see. And you don't have to experience none of the people that I'm experiencing. But when I say the last generation is the last generation, I mean that shit. Our women, oh, she ain't tolerant. She stuck up. She this, nah, she ain't that. She's done. She's done. And she's not done for her. She's done for a bloodline, my nigga. She's done for a lineage. This is an ancestral doneness. Like that shit it stops. This is the last generation who was the last, like that last generation was the last generation. And our women are now making the change. You know what I mean? They're deciding, I'm not dealing with this shit. And they're giving up all other things that guilted them into binding to that shit. You feel me? Whether that be religious practices, whether that be confined to the fact that you have to have a marriage, whether that be settling or whatever the case may be. You know, they're done with that shit, bro. They're done with that shit, bro. So, you know, and I'm gonna just quickly, it kind of ties into this, but it's kind of a tangent for you guys who keep, you know, getting bitter with me when you see women or you hear women, you know, on the social platforms calling me king and shit like that, bro. Like I do king shit. Okay. They understand that shit because of the breakthrough that they have come into. You feel what I'm saying? And it's connected to a lot of the transformation that they have gone through. And they're going to continue to go through. And so when we want that woman who is strong as our mothers, you feel what I mean? She's not going to be attracted to that. You feel me? She's going to be attracted to what she feels, you know. That's a different topic, man. That's a different topic. I don't even know why I brought that shit up. But I did feel the need to say that shit because y'all get on my nerves with that shit. Like, yo, why is she calling you king? Like, she ain't calling me king because she want me because I am. I am that I am. I don't have a kingdom yet. Like, I don't need a kingdom yet. But, yo, that shit's essence and reality within me. You feel me? You'll see, bro, like, when the kingdom sets. But the point of that I was making was because now the queens are emerging off of that. That's why I said the shit. Because the queens are emerging off of that and the energy's starting to reciprocate. You feel what I'm saying? So they're like, this is not one woman, two women. This is a epoch. This is a generation of women who have evolved and have elevated, and their attraction is the same. They will be single until they find the men who are in line and in tune with that shit. And the men that are in line, we're not doing this shit anymore. We're not doing the bouncing arounds. We're not doing all of that shit. We're actively in tune with the one person. Now, here's where the problem is, because we're at the cusp of the transformative piece. You feel what I mean? So it's like I myself am still running into women who anticipate that I'm going to be. I got like 4 women. I met this woman, beautiful soul. And her first thing was, she was like, you're gonna have to let me pick the sister wife. For fucking what? She was like, ain't you polygamous? No. The fuck? She said, oh, well, I just anticipated that because you... Fuck no, I can barely deal with my own emotions. And yours too, and a third, fourth, and fuck no. You know, I've had women tell me, yo, you will make a great polygamist. You could do it. I'm not doing polygamy, yo, fuck y'all. Hell no. Because once y'all monthly cycles coincide with each other, no. I'm not doing that shit. Fuck no. But the point that I was making with that shit was that our women are still healing with that. You know, because like I said, with that woman, it's like she anticipated that I was going to need another woman on the side. I was like, nah, I reached a whole different level of spiritual mastery that I don't need that shit anymore. And so we're still battling that. We're still coming at it. The next couple of generations, watch. It's going to be some beautiful shit. But in this moment right now, we have to heal as men too. So we're not continually putting our women through the very shit that our mothers have gone through that we know nothing about. And we have to be patient with the women that come into us. Like, I had to stop saying that I wanted a woman as strong as my mother, because when I started getting those women, I'm like, yo, you just like my mama. And it was cool at first. Because I'm like, yo, you just like my mama. But I don't even know what my mama's like. because I only know what she shows. So your positive side, I'm like, yo, but when I started to peel back the layers, I'm like, yo. Because like I said, it goes back into what the universe responds to, or what I want. So as brothers, if we want that strength in our mother, you got to be patient with the women that you involve yourself with. She's going to be hurt. She's going to be damaged. She's going to have some kind of stories and shit. You know, be strong enough. If you can, talk to your mama. Don't point a finger at her. Don't constantly tell her what the fuck happened to you and how, oh my gosh, you need to do this. Find out how she got to that point. Find out how she got to that point. And stop punishing her for the shit she couldn't control. Stop punishing her for the shit that she couldn't control over her life that led her to be this strong. To where she had to do certain shit, where she couldn't be around certain men because she peeped their energy before and she didn't want you to get fucked up over that shit. Pay attention to that shit, bro. Pay attention to how much a mother puts her kids before anything else, before she ever puts herself. That's a different thing. A lot of women now are living their life before they have kids because they don't want any regrets. I'm doing the same shit too. Now, I'm not saying children are going to be regrets. Whoa. Let's not do that. Because there's things right now that I know that I'm going to build that are going to be with my kids. So it's like, I get that. But I mean, in the sense of, I've had women who say, yo, I put 50, 60 years into this marriage and at least I got my kids. Like, to put at least I got my kids shows that your whole shit was fucked up. You feel me? But we want women that are as strong as our mothers, right? So that level of endurance has to go into it. You know, but what is the endurance coming from? What are they enduring? You know, I remember I used to talk to this woman one time. Beautiful soul, but she was traumatized. So traumatized that I remember the first time we was kicking it. You know, I think I was at her spot, or I don't know, whatever the case may be. We were sitting on the couch, and I stretched. And like when I stretch, I get dramatic sometimes, and I'm like, yeah. I'm that type of stretcher, right? And I did it too quick, and she flinched, and I was like, "You good? Like, what happened?" And she was like, "Yeah," but I was like, "Okay, I'm tripping." I'm like, "Nah, you good? I'm not going. You know what I mean?" But as we talked, I found out that she was in an abusive relationship prior, and it happened so fast, like the stretch. And I was, like I said, I was dramatic as fuck. I was like, ah! I mean, you know what I mean? Like, y'all know that good ass stretch that make you just, like, you feel me? I'm that type of stretcher. So there was no warning. Hey, I'm about to do a wild stretch. Here it comes. Don't flinch. But I didn't even know that she was in that. You feel what I mean? Until I seen how she jumped. I said, whoa, I can tell, but I was like, I'm not even going to pry. Like, yo, she's been hit before. She's definitely been hit before. And sure enough, we peeled back the layers and shit like that. And it was like, cool. It wasn't cool, but I'm like, we came to terms with why she did. I'm like, I'm not going to, you know, but it's hard to say that I'm not going to put my hands on you because the very person that put their hands on her said the same shit. You feel me? So as men, my brothers, we need to really start to pay attention to that shit a lot more. No more of that shit where, you know, well, you need to pick the right dudes. There is no picking the right dudes when we know we've done the evil shit. And y'all little trolls get on my fucking nerves, man. Every time I see that shit, a woman be like, well, men do this. Oh, that's because she's picking the wrong man. Show me the right ones. Bitch, we in a pot together. Show me the right ones. Because then you have to break down the tiers. Because if you're not getting women, you don't count. Obviously. You don't fucking count. Now, I'm gonna put, I guess the arrogant hat is gonna come on in this one, you know, motherfuckers say I'm arrogant sometimes, but the arrogant hat has come on. But there's upper echelon levels of shit for us. The alphas, the masculine men, we hold a different title than the rest of you bitchy motherfuckers that are complaining. You feel me? We know what it's like to be able to have the women that we want, to be able to do the shit that we do, and we know. You motherfuckers say, oh, she's picking the wrong man. She's picking the wrong man. She's doing this. She's doing that. She's doing this. It's like, yo, quit complaining. Because you were never one of the ones that was actually getting it. And it shows. It shows. Can't even handle. Never mind. Woosah. We talking about something different. But as men, we got to come to the collective and say, okay, bam. We got to make peace with this shit and understand that we're going to have to fix the women that are broken when they come to us. It's not our responsibility to fix an individual woman. True, it's not. But we have to fix the collective of women because it's reciprocation. We put out enough damage, we have to start putting in good and we have to start healing them. This is why you need platonic friends. The universe put me in this position, right? I have a lot of women platonic friends and never knew it. There was women I just would not cross the line with. I couldn't. Now I know why. Because I was tasked to do my part in healing who I can. Fixing who I can. Saying, look, get over this fuck boy. Stop fucking with this dude. Talking to them like their brother. Tapping into the fraternal energy. You feel me? I know how to turn that shit off and on at will. I got homegirls. We can be in a playful conversation, and then we can switch the guidance, and I can give them on some paternal type shit, go from being friendly to look, get your shit together, yo. Okay, seeing why I'm not yelling. I'm keeping it a being with you. You fucking with somebody, you are connected to this man, and this man means no good for you. You feel me? I'm willing to do that shit, and we're still friends. There's no, y'all, I don't cross that line. But at the same time, my homies, they gotta be able to get that platonic energy out of me. And that's how we're going to heal our women. We gotta stop saying, I want her to be as strong as my mama, because that's going to have us dealing with women that are very, very damaged. Very, very damaged, because we don't know how damaged our mothers really are. We don't know a lot of the shit that they hide. We don't know. And that comes into, as a culture, we need to stop hiding shit. We need to stop keeping fucking secrets. And then the shit blows up after 20 years of the family reunion because a motherfucker get mad. We need to stop keeping secrets, because right now, with all of the secrets being kept, there are little girls being damaged. There are little girls. And all you motherfuckers, I got the spirit of discernment. The Lord told me this. The Lord tell you everything about it except when little girls are getting molested. Everybody knows the spirit of discernment tells you everything except when babies are being abused and little girls are getting a mess. That shit pisses me off, because we keep these secrets in. Oh, she being fast. She being this. No, she's not. She's being targeted. Fucking idiot. That shit pisses me off. That shit pisses me off to no end. Because now we have generations. Now we have little girls who can't tell the shit that they've gone through. They won't tell the shit that they've gone through. Why? Because nobody's going to believe them. Everybody's going to call them fast. I was at a family function and I had a cousin say, girls be lying. And she was the fucking woman. Like, what? These girls be lying, but yet they're not lying when they're doing some promiscuous shit. You feel what I mean? Not realizing they're doing that promiscuous shit. So you say, because they're seeking love. They're seeking some kind of energy that they can't find. Their father is emotionally attached. He can't show them anything. Don't nobody want to show them anything, but everybody want to point the finger. Everybody want to say how bad they are. And our girls, our sisters, they are going up through this. This shit is a part of the strength that makes them as strong as their mamas. You feel me? So we need to peel back the layers and stop dealing with that shit. My brothers, I strongly encourage you as best as you can. Like I said, you're not going to get all of the answers. But start talking to your mothers about the shit that they've gone through. You feel me? It's going to take some time before they're comfortable enough to tell you some of the shit. I'm still working at it with mine. I love her to life, because now it's making more sense. A lot of shit is making more sense. Why I always felt I needed to fix women. Why I always felt I needed to be, yo, babe, I got you. Just, everything's going to be like when I was 18 years old, the relationship that I got in, and I told her, look, just let me finish med school, finish all these things, and you don't have to work. You don't have to do anything. Just let me get to that point. She couldn't be patient enough for whatever the case may be. But I've always been, I'm not in that space anymore. Because it's not on me to fix, because I didn't break it. But at the same time, collectively, I have to realize that our people have gone through something that's on me to put my piece into the world. To say, bro, we need to change this shit, bro. We need to change this shit. So it starts with us fixing our relationships with our mothers and our sisters. Like, really talk to them and see what the fuck is going on. I have more conversations with my mom. I have more conversations with my sister that I never had when I was a kid, before I started fucking women in the streets, before I started doing all these things, before I was like, yo, you got to be as strong as my mama. You got to be as strong as my sister, because they ride or die. Like this and that and the third. I didn't even know how they had become that strong until I started to talk to them. You'll see a different side of life. You'll see a different experience, and you'll be able to tap into something totally different. Then you can start choosing different women. I was always looking like, why am I always dealing with women who are just coming out of relationships, who are heartbroken, who are damaged, who are this? I said, I'm tired of that. Can I get somebody who's healed? And everybody kept telling me, oh, you got to be healed for that shit. I'm healed. Like, I don't get it. Like, oh, you still harboring, like, even those women that they're like, you might still be holding. I'm not holding on to shit. And I realized what it is. The shit that I am dealing with is I'm trying to find my mother's strength in that woman. And that's what broke it. You feel me? That's what broke it. So for my brothers, please, please, please talk to your mother. Talk to your grandmother. Your grandmother, she definitely probably not going to tell you shit. She definitely not going to probably tell you shit. She probably going to tell you, you know, the Lord got me through, and, you know, or the whatever, you know, because the higher, the older they are, the stronger they are, the more they won't tell you. You feel me? But you got to start getting to that, you know, pry a little bit, like, yo, like, start to get to that point. For me personally, my level started like this. I started talking with my sister first. Then I was like, oh shit. Then I started speaking with my mother. Unfortunately, my grandmother, my mother's mother, she was, you know, deceased before I can get to that point. You know what I mean? And, but I still have that glimpse by seeing, you know, having this conversation with my mom. But have these, bro. And do it without the attack and the judgment, like, this is what you did to me. You feel me? My life changed when I was able to look at my sister, when I was able to look at my mom and ask, well, what happened to you? That's when I was able to see things differently. When I was able to ask what happened to them. Shit that I didn't know about. Shit that I couldn't see. Shit that happened when, what happened to them? Then you can figure out why you want a woman as strong as your mama. Then you'll be able to figure out how a woman as strong as your mama has to have gone through a lot of shit to be that strong. But that's, you know, I'm going to go ahead and tie up because it's starting to get long. You know, so I'm going to say this. My brothers, let's change. I really don't know what else to say anymore. I really don't know what else to say anymore. We have to. Not just for the sake of our daughters, for the sake of the women that we're involving ourselves with, for the sake of our mothers. You feel me? We have to change. You know, to my mama, to my sister, I love y'all to life with everything in me. And if I can't erase none of the shit that I did growing up. I can't erase none of the problem, none of the disrespect that I have. One thing I know for a fact, I'm going to end on this note because it's funny, but one thing I know for a fact is that I try to reconcile with my sister because she had a birthday. I want to say it had to be like her 13th birthday, 13th or 14th birthday, and maybe the 12th. And she had this cake. It was an ice cream cake. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget this shit. And I wanted some. It was early in the morning. I was about to watch cartoons. And I wanted some. And I dropped the whole cake on the floor. I felt so bad after that shit. I cried. I felt bad because I was like, oh, no, I dropped my sister's birthday cake. But as I got older, I bought her another birthday cake. Like we was a lot older. We was grown as fuck when I did this. But I got her a cake again. But I actually talked to her and I apologized for dropping that cake. You know, I apologized then, but it hit different. It hit different because, you know, I'm like, wow, that was a cake. You know, what other things have I, may have done to my sister that I knew nothing about, that I'm oblivious to, that because she's been built to be so strong, she keeps, it's nothing. You know, it's nothing. Same with my mama. You feel me? Same with my mama. And as sometimes we don't realize what we do. And so because of in that circle, you know, So like I said, I love my sister to life. I love my mama to life. And I dedicate this one 100% to you two. I dedicate it to all of the women who are not able to truly be themselves with the men that they're with. And I dedicate this to my brothers who are trying to open up and understand why they've always wanted a woman as strong as their mama and why the relationship wouldn't work. See, it goes hand in hand. The shit doesn't work for that very reason. Until you uncover it and you peel back the layers behind the pain that your mother has gone through, behind the pain, and it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, but start off small. Like I said, I love my sister to life. I love my mama to life, and I appreciate them for opening up to me. You know, I still don't know everything, and I don't think I want to know everything, but you know what I mean? I'm learning enough. I'm learning enough to know how to, okay, let me be a lot more patient with the women that I'm with. Let me be a lot more patient with the women because if my sibling gone through, has things that she had to hold on to, my sibling, and I knew nothing about it, like that's a powerful thing. My sibling, like, motherfucker, we watch cartoons together, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we would play together. Like, I knew nothing about some of this shit. Only imagine what happens with the women that I involve myself with. You feel me? But I'm gonna end with that. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at _just_scene_. Hit up my website at iamjustscene.com to book a session with Just Chatting with Scene. To get my books, So Frail, Reality, Black Male Masculinity, So Frail 2, Toxic Femininity. A lot of this information, too, quick pause, that triggered this conversation is found in both So Frail 1 and So Frail 2. So just a heads up. Be sure to get my book, Hitting the Raw, Living a Raw, Plant-Based Lifestyle for Life. Also, while on iamjustscene.com, you can get access to my courses, the 90-Day Vegan course and Mastering the Market. 90-Day Vegan course will be transitioning back into the Hitting the Raw program. And be sure to get the merch, as always. And that's it. Much appreciation to everybody who sponsors and supports the podcast. You are loved, appreciated, and, thoroughly respected. And I think that's about it. Yeah, so my brothers, when you want a woman as strong as your mama, pay attention to what strength you want. And make sure you know your mama too, in and out. Learn what made her strong like that. Your sisters too, your aunties, everybody, because this is collective strength that she holds. You know what I mean? This is collective strength that she holds. And what we have to do is break it. We can't start breaking it the moment our daughter comes into this world. We have to break it before we interact with the woman who's going to give us a daughter. And to do that means that we have to break it with the woman that we came from first. All right. So with that being said, I love y'all. Go kiss your babies. Go make sure that your kids are eating their vegetables. And do not be putting no fucking disinfectants in your body listening to this motherfucker. I know y'all listening to this shit are smart as fuck, and y'all ain't gonna be the ones to do that shit. But y'all know I'm speaking on collective right now. Cause it's look, I ain't even gonna get into that. I love y'all, man. Always go kiss your babies, eat something good, charge up, get some sunlight. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.